How's it going, guys? If you guys don't already know me, my name is Frank May. And, well, to be honest, I've been kind of off from YouTube. I've been so busy with all the things that I got going on. I have my studio. It's gone through some ups and downs, but I mean, it's definitely something that I always have to attend to. So sometimes I really don't get a chance to make these videos. But something that I've been wanting to do for the longest, honestly, since I was a kid, when other kids were out there playing or just watching cartoons. It's funny that I love changing to the Food Network channel, and I would just watch all these cooking videos. And as I grew up, you know, my mom was in and out, and she never really had too much time to sit down and make nice meals. So I would watch these shows, and I would just, you know, try to create all these amazing recipes just because, you know, we couldn't really afford these. So as I grew up, I just became so passionate about cooking, and I love it. And being a trainer here in Dallas, Texas, you know, nutrition, you know, I understand that it's something that's big, you know, and falling in love with cooking, you know, it just makes that transition so much easier. When you love cooking, when you love what you're putting in your body, you know, it makes life just so much easier, just living it healthy. So today we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna do a tofu scramble. For those of you guys who don't know, I went vegan a couple months ago, and you know, I really love the transition. I love the change. I definitely feel a lot of different things, and you know, breakfast is one of the biggest things that I love to have. So today I'm gonna show you guys a quick little recipe that we can do for all you egg lovers. I'm a huge egg lover. So for this tofu scramble, of course, we're gonna have tofu. You wanna make sure that you get the extra firm. The first time I made this, I accidentally got the silken version is what they call it. So it's a much softer tofu. And when I threw it in there, it just got all mushy, and it kind of just ended up looking like mashed potatoes at the end. So make sure that you guys get that extra firm tofu, all right? And then we're gonna have nutritional yeast. All right, so this right here is really important to have. This is what's gonna help give the tofu that egg consistency. We're gonna have about 1 or 2 jalapenos. So just depending how you really like, how spicy you like your food, you can cut these up. We're gonna go ahead and cut these and mince these. I'm gonna leave the seeds in here because I love spicy food. You're more than welcome to just cut the jalapeno, de-seed the jalapeno, get rid of that. That way you just have that nice zesty, spicy taste. Some garlic, of course, because garlic, you know, it just makes food so much better. So we're gonna have about 4 cloves. We're gonna go ahead and we're gonna mince these. If you guys don't know how to mince, cool little thing to use right here. You just grab these. Of course, you de-shell these, throw it in here, press it, throw it in the tofu scramble. Makes it so much easier. I'm gonna go ahead and use one of these today. Then we have 1 small onion. So I get the yellow onion just to give it that nice sweet flavor that you want to get in that egg. We have about would be worth about a whole carrot. I went ahead and just got the ones that are already pre-cut for you. You can go ahead and just get 1 carrot, peel it, cut it up. You're just gonna go ahead and just shred it in the egg scramble either way. You'll see that later on. Then we have about 2 teaspoons of lime juice right here. So what's equivalent about, you know, 1 lime. Go ahead and just squeeze that out. 2 if you want to give it a little bit more of a nice lime zesty taste. Soy sauce. This right here is gonna help counterbalance that lemon, you know, give it a nice richer taste right there. We're gonna have about 2 teaspoons of olive oil. Really, you can use any kind of oil. I'm just a bigger fan of olive oil, to be honest. It's what I've always used. We're gonna have 1 small bell pepper, all right? You're gonna go ahead, we're gonna cut this out, chop them down, dice them. We'll have that right here. We'll have about 1 small broccoli. This one is a little bit bigger, so I'm gonna kind of just cut it down and just chop this down. You guys will see that. We have about 2 teaspoons of dried oregano. That'll really give that rich taste to this egg scramble. 2 tablespoons of chili powder. And 2 tablespoons of cumin. So we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna prepare this, and we'll come back and see how it looks, guys. So we're gonna go ahead and start preparing this. We're gonna go ahead and just move everything around. First thing that I like to start off with is the onion. All right. This is a cool little cutting board we got here. Comes in with its own little pop-up dish. So when you cut these things, just kind of throw them in here. That's pretty cool. So of course we gotta get rid of the shell. All right. We have a nice sharp knife. Be careful. Cutting off that end. Cutting off that end. Alright. And we're going to peel down to the second layer. You don't necessarily have to. Some people like to just peel off that first little shell right there. I like to just say, just get rid of that. Why even bother with that, right? Go ahead and just take all that off. You don't need that. Alright, there we go. This over to the side. Alright. Cutting that in half right there. And cut that in half. I like to start right there from the edge. Another cut. Pretty easy when you have a nice sharp knife too. When you guys really start getting serious about trying to make better meals, it's really good to invest in a good knife, just because it makes the preparation so much easier. Right now there's not too much acidity coming into the air, so a cool little tip that people don't know: if you don't have a sharp knife when you cut into the onion, the reason you start crying is because you're breaking the onion apart, and that acid is going into the air. When you have a nice sharp knife, you avoid that. You avoid that crying. I'm gonna go ahead and just chop that down. I like to just gather it a couple times, just give it a couple more chops. Oh, be careful. Sometimes you'll lose a couple. Alright. Go ahead and throw this in here. Hopefully I don't throw this down on the ground. I've never used this little cutting board we got here. There we go. Wipe that off. So the next thing we're going to want to get is our broccoli. Alright, and we're going to want to get about, you want to get a small broccoli. The place I went to, they only had some big ones right now, so we're going to go ahead and cut off about maybe a third right here. So again, when you have a nice sharp knife, it goes pretty quickly. Alright, I just like to use the florets. Some people like to use the actual stem of the broccoli. I feel like you got to cook it a little bit longer, and you know, when we're trying to make these meals, we're trying to make some nice quick meals, right? And again, you just kind of cut it out. You just flip the broccoli over, kind of like this, and just cut it down. Again, I just use the florets. Throw that away. We're gonna go ahead and we're gonna kind of just chop these down. So if you're starting off cooking meals, the thing I like to do is I like to prepare all the ingredients beforehand. You know, once you get the hang of these recipes, you'll go ahead and you'll just kind of heat the pan up and cut it up as you go. But you know, for the sake of teaching, we're gonna go ahead and just go through one after another. You're gonna go ahead and grab the bell pepper, just kind of make a square. Take that out, chop that down, and then we're gonna kind of get rid of that little white stem part right there. We don't really need that. It's kind of like the seeds. I mean, bell peppers are basically like jalapenos. So that's that seedy part. We don't really want that. I'm gonna go ahead and give these a rinse. You wanna make sure you get the seeds out of there, so I'm gonna give these a quick rinse. Just kind of cut it long ways. All right. Put it down like that. Make them a little bit smaller if you want. All right. Remember, we want to do about one small red bell pepper. Kind of just press down, you know. Excuse my knife skills. I promise, guys, that as we continue, my skills will get better. Now that I'm putting myself out there, I really gotta start fine-tuning how to cut better, making sure I'm not doing this all sloppy, and really help you guys learn how to do this. I'm not a chef at all. You know, everything that I do, I kind of just taught myself. Like I said before, you know, I just grew up just watching video after video, show after show, and really I don't know, I thought it was so fascinating. I guess really for me, the biggest reason I latched on to those kind of shows where they made these decadent meals and these amazing plates, is because, you know, I come from a pretty poor family, and we could never afford anything like the stuff that they were eating. And you know, once I found out that, well, shoot, if you make the meal, it's cheaper than if you go out and get it. And for me, it was like, well, you know, if I can't go out to the restaurant and get the meal that I really want, I might as well learn how to make it. You know, no reason why I have to miss out. Just got to work a little bit right, and that's kind of what cooking is about. Is, you know, working for the food you're about to have, right? Get rid of that. And we kind of just want to give it a little quick pass over. Just kind of make sure we get any little loose bell peppers we might have missed. It's nice, beautiful red. When we throw this in there with the tofu scramble, it'll kind of give it a nice red color to the entire thing. Make it look really good. Throw this in there. So remember, guys, we want to prepare all of this beforehand. It makes it easier. You know, growing up, trying these recipes, as I would kind of just gather all the ingredients, I would kind of just try to do it one by one as the pan was getting hot, and that's a mess. You know, if you don't know how to cook, or you're still learning how to cook, you definitely want to prepare everything beforehand. All right, and we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna take this tofu right here. We're gonna go ahead and open this. We're gonna drain it out. So if you guys have never had tofu, we have Anthony and Stephanie have been recording today, and they agreed that they were gonna try this food afterwards. They're making faces. They're like, I don't know about this tofu. But either way, neither one of them has ever had tofu. So if you've never had tofu, this is what it looks like. Here we go. So it's basically a big block. Again, like I said, you want to make sure you get the extra firm. That's going to make sure that when we're breaking it down in this mixture, it's not going to just fall apart to mush. So let me go ahead and grab another bowl for this. Throw it in this pot. So we're going to just use this to kind of drain out this tofu. Right. So if you've never held tofu, if you're Hispanic, then you know what a queso fresco feels like, and that's basically what this feels like. If you don't know what that is, it's kind of like a really moist cheese. That's kind of what tofu feels like. But either way, we're gonna kind of want to squeeze out some of this moisture in here. All right. We want to make sure that it doesn't fall apart when we throw it in our mixture later on. So I like to just kind of squeeze out the juice prior to doing all this. That way when we break it apart, we don't have to rush. I tell you that from experience, because the first couple of times that I made this tofu scramble, you know, I kind of just try to prepare everything as it came, and that was a mess, especially when I came to find out that you have to be kind of gentle with this tofu until you throw it in the pan. But there we go. We got a good amount of that moisture out. We're gonna go ahead and just dump this out. All right, so we're done draining the tofu. We went ahead and threw that out. Real funny. The camera guy, Anthony, he gave a comment that it looks like a wet sponge. It does, I'm not gonna lie. You know, when you really look at it, I'm honest about this food. You know, when I first decided to go vegan, I was really wary of some of the stuff that I was gonna be eating. But you know, it's interesting, I like it. Either way, we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna take a jalapeno. Again, you can cut these open. And what I mean by that, you know, you would just kind of cut down, you know, open it up, and you would peel that out, you know, peel that. But I like to have the seeds in there just because it really adds to that spiciness. We're gonna mince our garlic after this as well. So go ahead and throw this back in there. Drop that on the ground. We gotta do another one. That's annoying sometimes. You can get messy when you have the seeds. Again, if you want to de-seed it beforehand, go ahead and do that, feel free. But I love having the seeds in there. We're gonna go ahead and we're gonna peel these garlics real quick. Go. Taking all that off. I'm gonna use this right here. This is pretty easy. We're gonna go ahead and just throw it in here with the jalapeno. We're gonna throw those in together later on. All right. Want to have a knife on hand so that it gets stuck there. If you put too much garlic in here all at once and try to crush it, these things will break. I did that like 2 weeks ago, and I had to buy another one of these things. So don't overload it. I was like, oh, I'm gonna just throw a lot of garlic and just mash it in and get this done. Don't do that. Then you're gonna break it and you gotta buy another one. Nobody likes to spend a lot of money. There we go. Awesome. We're gonna clean this up. All right. So at this point, we pretty much have everything prepared. We're gonna go ahead and we're gonna throw our oil in our pan, and we're gonna go ahead and warm it up. Like I said, we're gonna put it at a medium heat, And we're gonna go ahead and just start throwing all of these, and that flies by pretty fast, this food. All right, guys, so I already went ahead and warmed up the pan with the oil. We threw in the onions and sauteed it for about 2 to 3 minutes, then threw in the garlic, sauteed that for about another minute, threw the broccoli and the bell peppers and all the spices. Now we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna throw in the tofu. All right, so you're just kind of gonna grab it and you just kind of just throw it apart right here. Get a little bit messy, it's all right though. We're just gonna throw it apart. You don't have to get it super down, broken down, but that's all right. It'll break down a little bit more as we just stir it all around. Make sure that everything gets all the spices in there. So we want to make sure that all the spices that are on those vegetables that have been cooking right now for these last 10 minutes or so get onto that tofu. You know, we want it to all have that flavor. Gonna turn down the stove a little bit. So every now and then it might get a little bit dry, so it's getting a little bit dry right now, the pan. I'm gonna go ahead and grab some water, so don't freak out. It does happen with vegetables, of course, just because there's no fat, you know, coming from the food that we're making. So there's no oil that can be made, but I'm gonna grab a little bit of water, just throw some in, about 1/3 of a cup, just to make sure that, you know, this doesn't burn down and stick to the pan. But go ahead and mix that up and let it sit for a moment. And I'm gonna add some water real fast. I'm gonna throw that in there. About, like I said, about 1/3 to get it nice. And right now, what we're gonna do, we're gonna let that cook for a little bit. I'm gonna turn that up a little bit more, because now we want to make sure it cooks down well. But we're gonna go ahead and throw the nutritional yeast, the soy sauce, and the lemon juice, and the carrots last. All right, that's really what's gonna finish off the taste for this, and this is gonna be great, guys. If you guys have never had tofu, don't be scared. I promise you, you'll live. Looks great. I think it looks great. This looks amazing. To me, it looks like egg. Maybe it doesn't look too like egg to some guys, but I love it. It's definitely a great replacement, like I said, for all my egg breakfast needs. Alright guys, we're going to go ahead and throw in this nutritional yeast in here now. So after it's kind of gotten nice and cooked down right there, you want to start throwing it in, and about a 1/3 cup, guys. On the rest right there. It's an interesting color, right? So as a kid, my mom would make huevos con tomate, so eggs with tomato. And honestly, this is kind of what it would look like. It would have that nice red color right there, that real nice hue, and sometimes she would throw in some veggies in there too. That's kind of what it looks like. Lastly, we're going to go ahead and throw in the soy sauce and that lemon juice. And lastly, we're going to go ahead and just throw in the carrots. Some people like to throw them in there as strips. I kind of like to just chop them down. You can even grate them down a little bit, but I like to have that nice chunky texture in there. Really love the sweet taste that carrots really bring. I'm gonna mix that in there and let that finish off. go, guys. There we go. Nice fluffy tofu scrambled eggs. Looks really good. I love that red color that we have in there. Man, the smell that's coming from it, I can smell all the spices. It's great, guys. Come on. This is amazing. I think this would go great with some biscuits. Some homemade biscuits and maybe a vegan chorizo. So that's definitely a video that's gonna come out soon, guys. I hope you guys really love this video. This is super simple. It's pretty quick to do. Once you get all the stuff, just throw it all together. It tastes great. You can do different variations, different vegetables. But stay tuned, guys. We're gonna have those biscuits and that chorizo video coming out real soon. Once again, my name is Frank May, and thank you, guys.